This week in Trigun Stampede, Tomio Kurosawa returns as young Vash with some devastating lines. Just take a listen.
あのまま死にたかったのに。バカになりたい。消えてなくなりたい。
It's amazing to think about the changes in Foss's voice as they undergo different mental and physical transformations to get to where we are now, on the cusp of another transformation, perhaps even a return to form. In Chapter 95, the song that transforms Lustrious into Lunarians takes place across 7 panels, while the song in Chapter 100 lasts about the same amount of panels. It suggests that a transformation from God to whatever comes next. In the comments for the Chapter 100 livestream, Imu pointed out that the 3 rocks in the chapter could represent children of the 3 races of humanity, with Pebble or Stone, whose name is confirmed by the little bottom text from this chapter as a Lustrious, because they are the first we were introduced to, as well as being surrounded by a bunch of crystals in chapter 99, Twirly as an Admirabalis for jumping into the water and spinning around, and the flat one, who I still don't have a good name for, as a Lunarian residing on another little island where they create a message in the sand, another spin on the dust on the moon. The message doesn't fully match the invitation at the beginning of the art book that came with the limited edition of volume 12 of the manga, but the flora and fauna that surrounds it appear to be identical. So what do you think Foss's new form will be in 101 and onwards? This chapter exudes a lot of emotion. To me, it mostly conveyed a bittersweet happiness with a hint of melancholy, which accurately describes much of the manga. The passage of time is masterfully done by Ichikawa yet again, with 3 separate instances this time. Similar to chapter 99, which mimicked chapter 1 to show time progression, I generally view the butterflies to represent a 10-day chunk, as seen from chapter 29, where Foss was waiting for a black spot to appear, but now that doesn't matter. Foss couldn't even tell how much time had passed then, but now it's not even relevant. Time just happens, and it's something we fixate on, even though it might not be important. I used to hold the 3 time skips throughout the series to have such strong meaning, but with the 4th one at 10,000 years, Ichikawa has stopped explicitly stating how much time has actually passed. Whether Foss waits half a year because Pebble states that Twirl will come, or both of them wait almost a year plus to go talk to the unmoving Twirly, it's fine because Foss is happy. The armholes, which look like their lungs, especially in this chapter, that were punctured and removed when they first turned into the prayer form, are now filled with the grass that they lay on because nature, and in turn time, heals all. The butterflies that come to drop a little flower, which reminded me of a laurel wreath that the gems made for Foss in chapter 43, or even the wreath that was made for Kongo's birthday, which was one of the happier moments of the series, preceded with one of the worst moments, or the most shocking moments in the series, as after chapter 43, Foss lost their head, or after Kongo's birthday, the invasion happened. Foss is content even with a simple flower now. They have accepted their failures and successes. They're fine with just existing. The prayer itself has lost all meaning for us, Ichikawa, and Foss after it happened, as Foss talks about praying off the pebble so casually in chapter 99, and here they're just chilling in that hand pose without initiating a prayer of any sort. Is this the gift that Kongo and Enma had planned for Foss from chapter 96, so that even these inclusionless organisms will have enough empathy to pray for someone like Foss? It's actually so coincidental that I came across this video a couple weeks ago about sliding rocks, and just look at this title, 99 years later, we solved it.
So what force has been making rocks move for over 100 years when humans aren't looking?
These rocks have been sliding and moving at the same time in the same angles, which confuse people and scientists for almost a century on these sailing rocks on the racetrack Playa in Desert Valley. There were 2 theories into why they moved, wind or ice, and scientists were pretty convinced that wind was the reason because of how beautiful that sort of experiment was taken, but it was actually, in this case, an 1/8 inch thick sheet of clinker ice as it melts with just enough wind to move these rocks that are stuck and drag a pattern across the trail. The conditions for this to happen is so rare and coincidental that if you aren't there at the right place and the right time, you'll miss it. These unusual forces are just outside the realm of human perception. Even though we can imagine it, we don't actually see it happening or imagine it actually happening in our world. Similar to how you can actually create a sound from rocks using a phonograph, which usually a phonograph is used used for record players or vinyls, but you can do the same thing with just ordinary rocks, which is beautiful that I saw this clip on my Twitter timeline recently. The world sings to us constantly, we just can't listen to it. Everything feels out of reach, but that's because it is viewed from a human lens, which our own sight can only see a fraction of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. Flowers using ultraviolet pigments in their petals create patterns for pollinators like butterflies to see a bullseye pattern to encourage easy access to that said pollen. The world works in ways that we can't even comprehend, and that's okay. Which is why this chapter is so fascinating, because we have such a plethora of communication, from simple verbal to pictography to geomagnetic vibrations to vocals, when this series has been focused on that very form of miscommunication across all races of humanity. We are now able to freely express in all and any form. So it's okay if you felt lost while reading this chapter for the first time. I did too, and I still do. You aren't gonna understand everything because you aren't supposed to. You're simply human, and that's okay. So continue this confusion-filled ongoing release just for a little while longer, and let these thoughts really just sit with you. You don't have to be super reactionary the minute you read a chapter and not understand any of it. Just let it sit. We have at least 30 days, maybe more recently, to get a new material, so you have 30 days to sit on this and let it mature in your brain. I will never put out a chapter review immediately because I don't want to give out those initial impressions. I'll wait a couple days so that you can form your own opinion, and then you can hop on the live stream or this video that comes out later. It's a little more condensed and polished form of the live stream to share my thoughts, and my thoughts are only mine. You don't have to agree with them, you can, but at the end of the day, I will keep you company. I've reread the series at least 10 times at this point, and no promises, but Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, look out for videos on other parts of the series that I haven't covered yet. Subscribe for more, as we are trying to reach 10,000 sufferers at the end of 2023, and I have some production notes that come out 24 hours before the video goes up in my brand new newsletter, which you can sign up in the link down below. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.